Hello, Ambassador Castelmur.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting us today.
Big privilege. Thank you very much.
So this is the new Swiss embassy. And actually, I heard that the courtyard here is the place that you particularly like.
You're very well informed indeed. It's my favorite place in this embassy because it's a connector of all the different spaces we have. The chancery over there, where we work, where we have the offices, the multi-purpose room where we do seminars, where we have small exhibitions, then here our private flat and the official residence here. It's really the central place, bringing all together, and it's a place where you can see the sky, where you can see the mountains. It's really like the idea in the traditional Korean house where you have the madang in the middle that frames the landscape, and that gives you all that, and it's really beautiful to be here.
Not only the courtyard, but the building itself looks very Korean.
It's very much inspired from Hanok, the traditional Korean house, obviously, and it's an adaptation, a reinterpretation by Swiss architects who studied Korean architecture in order to build something. We didn't want to build a Swiss chalet in Korea. We wanted to have something more refined, something that is well adapted to Korea, and that represents Switzerland beyond the cliches and beyond the stereotypes about an alpine chalet. No, it's not. It's a Swiss Hanok, and we try to bring in both sides. That is the idea.
I see. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. We like it also very much.
Ambassador, so here is the office space for the embassy.
This is one of our office floors. This is the section Political Economic Affairs and Culture and Communication. They are working here together. Not everybody is here, but it's a beautiful space, a lot of light, so it's very nice to work here, I think.
Oh, and I see some photos and some explanations here.
This is this photographic portfolio. It was all produced locally, manufactured locally by very talented Korean craftsmen. The photographer is a Swiss photographer, Hélène Binet. She is very well known for architecture photography. She has worked with Zaha Hadid. She has also worked in Seoul before for the DP building in Dongdaemun. She has worked for other Swiss architects, and so she was asked to document the building through kind of artistic photographies. The title is Encounter with Light, and there are several essays on the building and the situation. I like very much this one, where you don't see the embassy. The embassy is hidden behind, but it shows dramatically the city of Seoul, the mountains, the high-rise buildings, and all that. And this is obviously the color of the end of the day. So you have this beautiful gray, black, and it's very strong. And then you have the situation of the embassy, very low rise, and then you have this high-rise building behind. So
kind of contrast.
a strong contrast,
yes.
a very strong contrast in a way. But it's also beautiful is during the light. It has something very surreal in a way. It's really very nice.
Wow, Ambassador, so this is your residence?
Absolutely. This is the dining hall of our residence, and we are very lucky to be here because we can entertain here easily 22, 24 persons around this table, which is really nice. We are also happy that we got beautiful artwork. We think beautiful artwork from Switzerland, and these are contemporary pieces because we thought it's important to have something contemporary. Two very different paintings. This one very energetic, a strong gesture, and this one a little bit more dreamy, more soft. Now I will ask you a question.
Oh.
One is from a female and one is from a male artist. Which one is which one?
My guess is this one might be from male artist.
And this one from female artist.
Female artist.
No, this is the male artist and this is the female artist. So we were lucky that we can also, there are some stereotypes, and this is a very famous Swiss artist.
Beautiful.
And we like it very much, the energy, the strength it has, and this, the kind of dreaminess, the kind of very, it's fascinating also to see it.
That's calm and surreal.
But we do not only have Swiss art here in this residence, we have also Korean art. I'm very proud to have it. If you look behind you, we have two beautiful munjas we could buy in Gyeongju. The last time we were in Gyeongju, and we love them, the purity of the form. It's the essence of elegance and of beauty.
Ambassador, thank you so much for introducing your residence to our viewers today.
Pleasure.
So shall we move on and continue our talk?
Why not? Yes.
Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for coming to the new residence of Switzerland. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I know that you were appointed as an ambassador of Switzerland to South Korea in 2016. What has been the most memorable experience so far here in Korea?
There are so many memorable events I can quote. The first certainly was the very surprising and very strong demonstration movement we saw in Gwanghwamun Square, where so many people were gathering for the candlelight demonstrations. A very strong message showing the strong bond Koreans have with their democracy. So that is certainly something that impressed us very much. And then we had the visit of our President Alain Berset, who came in February 2017 visiting his counterpart, President Moon. They had very good exchanges, very friendly exchanges, and it went very well. Afterwards, Pyeongchang Olympic Games, so another highlight, obviously. Very well organized for Korea, big success for Korea, but also a big success for Switzerland because our sportspersons, our athletes won 15 medals, I think, which was a record. So Korea was very good and nice for Swiss athletes.
I see. Switzerland has a global reputation for being a developed country that has both peace and also strong economy. And many say that one of the main reasons it could become such a country was that it declared itself as a permanently neutral country. Could you explain more about this?
I think the factors are very obvious and they are not necessarily related to neutrality. I think I will talk later on neutrality. For me, the biggest factor for the economic success of Switzerland is certainly the political stability. Switzerland is a very stable country. We never had kind of revolutions. We never had big strike movements. Switzerland was very happy to have a very quiet history in a way. Some people would say a boring history, which of course is not true. The other thing that is also true is our society is a consensual society. We do not have big splits. We do not have a very polarized society. So that's also something that helps to build kind of long-term policies. And another one is certainly also open society. Switzerland has benefited a lot from people coming from far away, sometimes from neighboring countries in Europe, but also sometimes from the US, from Asian countries, and feeling well in Switzerland and contributing to the Swiss success. And finally, our economy is very liberal. It's a very open economy. We have a kind of minimum set of rules that apply. So these were all factors that have heavily contributed over the time to make Switzerland a highly successful economic country with a very big wealth, I think, and people are enjoying good lives in Switzerland. And I think neutrality for Switzerland, being located in the center of Europe with very big powers around us, France, Germany, Italy, the UK not so far away, Russia, the Russian Empire before. So for Switzerland, being a very small country, it was a survival strategy not to engage, not to take sides. So we said, well, we are impartial, we do not pronounce ourselves, we will defend ourselves, but we will not become allies of one of the powers, because otherwise the country would have devastated. Then it has also become a kind of almost a mental setup of Switzerland. Swiss people normally do not easily take sides. They keep an open mind. They say, well, and they do not want really to say their opinion or to have very strong opinions.
Understanding and respectation.
Yeah.
The relationship between Korea and Switzerland deepened after the Korean War. As a part of NNSC, a body of neutral observers in South Korea, Swiss delegates were also sent to Panmunjom. How big is the scale of the delegation and what kind of work do they do there?
I'm very grateful that you mentioned NNSC, because it's really the longest bond we have, and since 1953 they have been on the demarcation line and doing monitoring work of the armistice agreement. In the beginning there were up to 100 people there, 100 officers really checking and seeing what is going on in the southern part of the demilitarization line. Now there are only 5 officers under the command of a 2-star general, and they do, together with their Swedish counterparts, inspect whether the armistice agreement has been respected by the South Korean army and the US army. Unfortunately, in 1994, North Korea get rid of the 2 other neutral states, Poland and the Czech Republic. So nobody is doing the same work in the northern part of DMZ. But we think it's an important contribution to stability and to the maintenance of the armistice agreement, and a contribution to peace in the long run.
I see. Switzerland has contributed a lot to maintaining peace on the Korean Peninsula. So I would imagine it means it's also particular. You have interest on all the changes that is going on in the Korean Peninsula very recently.
Absolutely. We really consider ourselves as stakeholders and also as friends of the peninsula, of the Korean people, and working with both governments, obviously. It was always the position of the Swiss government. It can only be through negotiations. You cannot, through military means, intervene on the peninsula. It's so highly and so densely populated. The only thing that you can really do is listening to each other, dialogue, diplomatic negotiations, and we hope that what has been started in 2018 during the Olympic Games of Pyeongchang, very savvily, I think, presented by President Moon, and then also responded by Chairman Kim. We very much hope that that will continue, and we are ready to contribute whatever we can contribute.
I see. Let's talk about the embassy a bit now. You've recently relocated.
Absolutely.
Could you tell us your embassy story, please?
We are so happy that we have this beautiful building. The beauty of the embassy is obviously the external aspect, the functionalities, but the other beauty and the other luxury I would like to mention, on this plot we could have built a house, a high-rise building of 20 stories. We didn't. We built a low-rise building because we think it's really nice and it's real luxury. You know, yes, you can see the sky upon our heads, and it's really very beautiful. But we have invested a lot also in green technology. It has a very low carbon footprint. because we heat with geothermal technology. Under this building, under the courtyard, there were drilled 38 holes, 150 meters deep, and we take the heat out of the ground and then it works through a heat pump. And in summer we generate the cooling, the air conditioning, and in winter the heating. And this is 80% of energy economy in comparison to traditional things. We are generating our own electricity. We have many solar panels on the roof. And the other fact, obviously even more important, is good insulation. It's very well insulated, all the walls, so that the loss of temperature or of heat will not be very big. So it's really a high-tech building. It's impressive, the machines we have downstairs. And we thought, everybody talks about climate change. Everybody says we have to do something. Well, we did something, and we wanted really to do it in a sustainable manner. And we're very proud of that, obviously.
It's a beautiful embassy. We've actually already taken a glimpse of this beautiful
I know
embassy.
that, yes. I'm happy that you came.
And I've heard a lot of good things as well. And our team was also there for the opening ceremony on May 17th.
Thanks for coming, yes.
So let's check it out together.
Thank you.
On May 17th, there was a big gathering to celebrate the opening in Seoul of Switzerland's new embassy. A roof reminiscent of the Korean ones with tiles called giwa. A big open courtyard instead of a European-style garden. The Swiss are the first in Korea to have an embassy whose design reinterprets the traditional Hanok. The opening ceremony kicks off with a performance by the Basel Symphony Orchestra. The construction of the Swiss embassy started in 2013 and was completed only very recently. It's a day long awaited, and so Ambassador Castelmur's preparations have been fittingly thorough.
It is also a symbol of Switzerland's confidence, an open nation in a globalized world, and a testimony of our desire to further broaden and deepen cooperation with Korea.
Dignitaries and guests of all kinds from both countries have come to celebrate this new platform for diplomacy between Korea and Switzerland. And as the first large audience to see it, the guests were also given a tour around the embassy. The embassy's lead architect, Nicolas Boucher, led the tour as he explained the embassy's many hidden spaces.
And we can see also this special concrete that we worked on. It is cast with pine tree planks, a very special way. I think we get some very good result.
There's a multi-purpose room that can be transformed for a wide array of functions, as well as offices, and the guests are shown around them all.
보통 대사관 하면은 영서 업무, 대사 업무 뭐 이렇게 해가지고 좀 이렇게 따로따로 떨어뜨려 놓는데 이거는 건물이 쭉 연결이 돼가지고 가운데를 중심으로 해가지고 재미있는 컨셉이다 생각했어요.
The challenge was about wood construction because we have a lot of wood construction in Switzerland, and in Korea there are these Hanok, but then there is no wood in contemporary architecture in Korea. So our idea was to bring this wood back to the architectural, to the contemporary architecture, to bring it back and to show, also to make a link between our culture and your past culture, actually.
The last part of the celebration is a dance by performers from both Switzerland and Korea. This performance is a collaboration by a winner of the 2017 Swiss Dance Awards, Tamara Bachi, and one of Korea's top dance groups, LDP. The dancers started from the embassy and made their way around outside of it, using 4 different spots as stages, and with the audience following them. It was a great chance to see what the embassy looks like from the outside, rather than from the rooms inside. This new embassy, a Swiss interpretation of a Korean Hanok, is expected to help exchanges between Korea and Switzerland continue to flourish and grow.
Korea are long friends. For over 50 years we have very good bilateral relations, but we think there is potential for increasing our cooperation in many fields. So this new embassy will certainly help us to increase interaction with Korea, with society at large, with government, but also with enterprises. And we will use it as a platform for increasing cooperation with Korea.
I think Switzerland embassy itself really symbolized the collaboration between Korea and Switzerland. Could you tell us more about various fields that we can look forward to more collaboration between the two countries?
Certainly. Well, first of all, I must tell you that our relations have so much intensified over the years. It's really amazing to see how close we have come in many fields. And I think there is still a lot of untapped potential. We have to work on that in many fields. The first field, obviously, is economic cooperation. Switzerland is an interesting market for Korean goods, for Korean services. We have a free trade agreement since 2006, which worked very well, but I think we could modernize it, and from our side we would love to modernize it and to have even more free trade between our two nations. Our bilateral trade volume has achieved almost $4.5 billion US, which is not so bad for, Switzerland is a small country, Korea is a middle-sized country, we are far apart, we are not neighboring countries. 4.5 billion is a very good number, and it's increasing. And the interesting thing is also with the instrument of bilateral trade statistics, you do not get the overall picture, because Swiss people are buying more Korean goods than produced by Korean companies, by Samsung, by LG, produced in China and Vietnam, by Hyundai and Kia, produced in Eastern Europe. So it would be much bigger if we have the full picture. We think also that in the field of science and technology there are very good established cooperation between Swiss university, Korean universities, and we have an amazing program and interaction of startups also. Switzerland is very good on basic research, on applied sciences also. Korea is very strong on applied sciences and big data. So there is a kind of complementarity we can really use, and where we work together. We had a workshop between startups. There were 180 people participating. It's really a big interest. And then the other thing also very important for us is cultural exchanges. There are so many Korean artists that are exhibited in Swiss museums, Swiss exhibitions, and many Swiss musicians come to Korea. Korean musicians go to Switzerland. So there's a very intense exchange. Sometimes we do not even have the full picture. So again, like for the export-import, for the trade situation, there is much more going on than what we can see.
I see. What do Swiss people think of Korea?
Well, they are very much admiring the economic success of the country. It's really amazing. The miracle of the Han River. It's really amazing what you have achieved in such a short period of time. They more and more discover Korea. They travel more and more also to the country. What is missing is a little bit the direct links. We do not have direct flight. We have only 4 direct flights. So I think if we would have more direct flights, probably in both ways, more tourists would come and discover the beauties of this country. Obviously, for younger people, K-pop is rather popular. And for the people, more and more also restaurants. You find Korean restaurants. You can have kalbi or bibimbap, because Korean food has been very popular recently in Switzerland.
So there is Korean wave in Switzerland?
In a way, yes.
I believe this is my last question. What is your goal as the Swiss ambassador to Korea?
Well, when I was sent out, I was given a mandate, a mission statement, a mandate, what I have to achieve. And obviously it's maintaining friendship and good relations with Korea, maintaining and perhaps even increasing. We are working on that. And on the economic side, it's certainly boosting trade and investment in many ways. We have recently have some successes that also Korean enterprises are investing in Switzerland, not for manufacturing but for R&D facilities. So that is something that is rather new. And then science and technology, as you said, this is a very promising field of activities where we have to increase, where we can do much more, and where the interest on both sides is really very big. Culture and tourism, again, that is also something. So really trying to present also Switzerland in as who we are, a friendly nation in the world, a friend of Korea, engaged, committed to peace and stability on the peninsula, and keen to further business exchanges, cultural exchanges. That is what we are doing. An ambassador is a bridge builder, and if you're successful, you can broaden the bridges and have more traffic in both ways, more exchanges, and that is what we are working on every day, more or less.
Ambassador, thank you so much for your time today, and we're really looking forward to your future activities here in Korea.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having you.